Okay, well, welcome. It's Sunday morning, and it's time for the Public Health Equity Exchange Conversation. I'm Maynard Scales here at WNSB, and I'm along with my very good friend and co-host, Jasmine Garcia. Hi, Jasmine. How are you?
I'm well. How are you today, Maynard?
Excellent. You know, I was running out of the house this morning, and I was in need of my driver's license, and I kind of got myself turned around. I thought I had lost it, but fortunately I was able to secure it. But, you know, that is just an example of one of the types of documents that we want to be able to get access to. Now, the driver's license, easily, DMV can help me with that. And DMV is a great place to go to get a lot of different things. However, right here in downtown Norfolk, we're close to downtown Norfolk, there is a place where I can find things like birth certificates, death certificates, marriage certificates, divorce records, and other things. It's called the Office of Vital Records. And so what is the value of having a vital records office? How does it help and benefit the citizens?
What helps and benefits our citizens in Norfolk is that it's accessible. It's here. You don't have to wait via requesting it through the mail or an online portal. You come right over to our office, 830 Southampton Ave in Norfolk, and you meet with our team, and they'll help you in obtaining a birth certificate, marriage certificate, death certificate, and a divorce certificate.
These documents are available. They are also authenticated, meaning that they cannot just be digitally altered without some telltale signs. I understand that there's a watermark that if I make a copy, what have you. Can you tell me a little bit about that?
Yeah, absolutely. So they are on a secured copy. So if anyone were to make a copy of it or fax it to anyone, it would say void all across the document.
Mm-hmm. And that's the special watermark in the paper. I kind of discovered that as an issue when I was trying to copy some $20 bills one day, but that's a whole other story. And, you know, I have family members who don't speak English. Is there help for them?
Yes. So we have some Spanish-speaking staff that can assist with the Spanish-speaking individuals as well as translation services. Mm-hmm. And the documents are available in Spanish and various other languages that we can assist with as well, not just the Spanish-speaking population.
So I show up and I open up the drawer. I go through, I look for the S's. I see my name. I grab it. I go over to the copy machine. I make a copy. Is that how it works?
It is not. Oh. That's not how it works.
What do we do?
So once you arrive over to our location, you have some very friendly staff that'll assist you, and you provide another form of identification, whether it be your ID. You have to be a spouse, a child, a maternal grandparent, or
next of kin, a sibling.
Some next of kin, a sibling, mm-hmm. Exactly. And they will walk you through with filling out the application, mm-hmm. and from there they will do their due diligence search, and they will let you know if you can receive that copy or not.
But you know, for years and years and years, I've needed a copy of something, and I just got on the highway and drove to Richmond. They were able to help me. Yeah, I enjoyed the trip. I would go past Pierce's Barbecue on the side of the road, get a little sandwich. What's the value of, you know, why change my plan? Like, it's here now. I mean,
yeah. So some people may not have that privilege of being able to drive to Richmond, and now you can get things mailed to you anyway. But if you're local, our office is also local, so you can obtain that copy right in our city.
Okay. I want to get a copy of my daughter's birth certificate, and there are some pieces that are necessary to get a copy of it. I need to know, you know, probably the day she was born and, you know, some things like that. What are like the real hard requirements to get a copy of it?
So one thing that they would like for you to bring, and your daughter is probably not a newborn, but if you have a copy of the letter of birth from the hospital, mm-hmm. that also can help. But of course, a copy of your ID, any other identifying information or document. One thing that they're also requiring is that it has to have your mother's maiden name. And say you have 3 names, they have to be in order and specifically to what your name is. And it would have to be the specific name that's been documented throughout the documents that the state would have to ensure that you are that person, or that's the person that you're requesting a document for.
The Office of Vital Records is going to also be very helpful in getting me a copy of my Social Security card, because I need that Social Security card. I'll go into the Vital Records and they're going to give me a copy, right?
No. They do not provide Social Security cards.
No Social Security card?
No, you have to go to your local Social Security office for that.
Okay, let me see if I'm getting this right. And I wasn't born in the state of Virginia. I was born in another state, but I can go to the Office of Vital Records and I can get them to help me get my birth certificate from the other state. They have that on file there.
They do not, and you cannot. So they unfortunately would not be able to help you with that. They would probably provide a resource for you, and probably tell you to go back to the state, refer back to the state that you were born, but we cannot provide birth certificates or any of those documents that did not occur in the state of Virginia.
I think I'm getting it. If you were born in the state of Virginia, if you were married in the state of Virginia, divorced in the state of Virginia, if your loved one passed in the state of Virginia, those documents are kept by the state of Virginia. If any of those incidents in life occurred in some other state, they would not have that document that were from that other state, nor would they have your passport or your Social Security card, because those are issued by the federal government.
Correct.
I see.
Only those occurrences within the state of Virginia, they'd have those specific documents here. Okay.
All right. And so a birth certificate is an important document. Obviously, it kind of tells when you were born. It, tells if you had all 10 toes and 10 fingers and all that great stuff. We all know those things. But I need my birth certificate almost never. I don't carry it in my pocket. I don't show it to a bunch of people. But there are some instances where a birth certificate is important, like getting a job.
Absolutely. Employment, if you needed to obtain your driver's license, or for some of our youth that are going for their permits at this time, you may need it for financial institutions as well, just to verify who you are. Property disputes during when someone passes away.
There are lots of other issues that having the right birth certificate and or in some instances a death certificate, marriage certificate, or the divorce record, the record of divorce is important. As you said property disputes, also taxes are issues, titles on, I imagine, on homes and on vehicles where names may appear, insurance issues, and then other kinds of genealogy issues. People often use, obviously, the state records as a way to find out maybe who they are.
Yes.
Now, this cannot be true. This could never happen for a handful of reasons. But I watched this movie about Frankie Lyman, and there were 3 women who had made a claim to his estate because they all claimed that they were married to him. And unfortunately, for whatever reasons, they were under the impression that they were married to him at the same time. Now, we know this could never happen because men don't make these kinds of mistakes. Men are honest and will always be married to one woman at a time. They just need to wait in line. But have you ever heard of a story like that?
Absolutely. So it does actually happen, probably more often than we hear about. However,
just don't talk bad about men now. Okay, go ahead. I'm sorry.
I would never. But there was a specific story and situation where there were about 3 wives, maybe ex-wives of a deceased person, and our staff did a really great job. One, in ensuring who was authorized to the document, doing their due diligence search to ensure who would be authorized for that document, and just following up and making sure it wasn't placed in the hands of the wrong person.
Great. That's a great story. It's fictional, but it's a great story. We know that guy wouldn't have done that. It was an oversight. It was a mistake. I'm sure of it. But may he rest in peace. And I hope those young ladies found what they were looking for. Now, we're talking about essentially the Vital Records office here in the city of Norfolk. But I may, the radio, you can hear the station in all 7 cities and even further out. Is it available to people who live in other cities here in the state of Virginia?
Absolutely, it is. In fact, there is a gentleman who travels from Chesapeake and comes over to Norfolk specifically for his documents, or had needed documents at one point, because of the relationship he's built with our staff. And they're amazing. The team's amazing.
That's pretty cool. So if you need help and you wanted to walk in, you can go there Monday through Friday from 9 a.m. to 3 p.m. Their phone number is 757-683-2887, and you can learn more about them online by visiting norfolkpublichealth.com. Again, the address to go to is
830 Southampton Ave.
And that's where you can just walk in the front door and there's a helpful staff. But there's one thing that this helpful staff will do. You ask for a document, they help you find that document, and then they're going to give you a bill. How much should I expect? Is it going to cost me $50, $100, $200 to get a copy of a birth certificate?
It's not that costly. It's $12, and that's a flat fee.
So $12 for a birth certificate.
Yes.
How about for a copy of a death certificate?
$12.
How about for a marriage certificate?
$12.
All right. How about for the divorce record?
$12 as well.
It's just $12.
That's it.
So I'll go in there if I go in there with $50, I'm gonna get $2 change. I'm gonna get a little bit of everything.
If you need it all.
People can often find themselves kind of having an emergency, like, I got to get this document right away, because you can, in fact, write to Richmond or what have you and request it, make a payment, and they'll send it to you. But that can take how long?
That can take up to a few weeks. I'd say about 8 to 10 weeks. That's listed if you're looking for a copy like of your long copy, or if you're looking to have it mailed to you. Of course, you can have it expedited at a much costlier rate of $60. But if you come to your local health department, you can get it right there. We've had someone who wanted to board one of the cruises right here in our own port in Norfolk, and they needed their birth certificate, and they were able to get it right then and there.
Does it take hours?
It does not. It takes upwards probably of a couple of minutes, and definitely not longer than a half hour.
Okay. If everything is in order, I should be able to walk in there. I need to board the boat at 10 o'clock. If I walked in there at 8:30, I should be able to get that information and still make it to board the cruise by 10 o'clock.
And true story, that did happen, and they were able to make their cruise.
It was this woman that was married to the man that had the 3 wives. Is it the same person? I don't know. I'm not
I don't
sure.
think so.
She was taking a cruise. She was trying to get the inheritance money to get the cruise. Okay, all right. Let's see how women can do us. Women do us bad, man. All right. So again, you can walk in. It's the address one more time.
830 Southampton Avenue.
All right. And you can also go to norfolkpublichealth.com or call them at 757-683-2887. They're available from 9 a.m. to 3, Monday through Friday. So this is what I want to know. I want to walk in there and I want to get, let's say for the sake of argument, I'm divorced. I want to walk in there and I want to get a copy of my marriage certificate and my divorce record. I can get those things, although I'm divorced from that young lady.
Absolutely, you can.
Now, I've discovered that she has passed on. I want a copy of her death certificate. Can I, because we had been married and we did get a divorce, but she's passed on, can I have access to her divorce record? Her death certificate? So
you would not be able to have access to her death certificate, but you would be able to have access to the letter of death.
Is that $12 as well?
Yes.
Okay. I am good friends with someone, and I get a phone call. He's out of town, and he's moved on, and he wants to get a copy of the birth certificate for his child. Can I walk in there and say, hey, I just need a copy of the birth certificate. My buddy's in the military. He's in San Diego now, and can I get a copy of that for him?
So that's nice of you to want to do that, but you would not be able to receive a copy. He would have to come in himself. So
there's a list of people who actually can get a copy, and that would be a spouse, a child, siblings, maternal grandparents, parents.
Correct.
Those people can get a copy. And a sibling is, in fact, a next of kin that is direct. Now, what about in the case where, like in my family, my father remarried and I have a stepsister? Would she be considered a sibling, or is she not actually a legal sibling that would have access to my records?
No. She would not be able to. If she's a step sibling or a step child of your father, she would not be able to. She would have to be his legal blood related next of kin.
Blood related to me at
And
the
child.
very least.
Correct,
right?
correct.
So a half sibling, a half sister, or a half brother, if we shared a common parent, could have access to that record. But a person who is related merely by marriage, as a what we call a step sister or a step brother, that person does not have legal standing to make a request of such.
Yeah, it would have to be a blood relative.
I understand.
A child, spouse, parent, grandparent, maternal grandparent, sibling.
In certain instances, we need to get copies of documents. We need to do it fast. We can make this. We can go in, walk in the front door, make a phone call, and go there. I want to make certain that what I get is the actual authentic article, and I can obtain those copies online at vdh.virginia.gov. Is what vdh.virginia.gov, is that significantly different than what I can get at the Office of Vital Records?
So you would be able to obtain the same documents. The difference with vdh.virginia.gov is that is specifically through the Office of Vital Records in Richmond. And it would take a little bit longer processing time. But you would be able to get a long copy, a long version of your birth certificate through them.
Okay. Now, someone is hoping right now, as it's the month of December, that they can have their child, that they will have a baby Christmas, and they want to name this child Nick. Or they're going to have their baby on New Year's, and they're going to name their child Mariah Carey, what have you. Once that child is born, the next day, the offices open up, the city is operating, the state is operating. I should be able to walk in and get that copy of that birth certificate like 2 days later, right?
So it would not be available 2 days after a birth, possibly not even after a week. What they advise is that you come in after the 30-day mark, or after the newborn has reached 30 days, and you would be able to obtain that copy then.
And on that birth certificate, the mother's maiden name, despite her marital status, will appear.
Correct.
The child's name, and then I, as the father and or spouse, can have my name put on the document after the birth. Is that accurate?
So Vital Records also offers the opportunity of paternity acknowledgement, and that may be the process in which you would need to go to get that listed on that document as well, to get a copy with that information.
So with the new year quickly approaching, I want people to understand that there is a cause for you to have some of these vital records. Those records include things like birth certificates, marriage certificates, death certificates, and also the record of divorces. Not, however, the divorce decree, not your Social Security card, not if you were born in some other state, not your passport, but vital records that emanated here in the state of Virginia. Your birth certificate, your marriage certificate, your death certificate, and a record of your divorce. Those things are available. You don't have to go to Richmond to get them. You can go, just drive across town. It's only a couple of miles away, and that is
830 Southampton Ave.
830 Southampton Ave, right here in Norfolk. It's just over there by CHKD and the hospital in that community. You can also call them at 757-683-2887. They're there Monday through Friday from 9 a.m. to 3 p.m., and you can visit them online at norfolkpublichealth.com. What other kinds of questions can we answer regarding the Office of Vital Records?
What I can share is that our staff are just willing to help. They're there to help. They're there to assist in gaining those documents. It's not a tedious or such a process that causes any kind of hassle. And they're so friendly. They're willing to assist any way that they need to assist. And if they need to provide you with a next step, they can do that as well.
Okay. This tax time, you very well may need one of your vital records for tax time. It's going to be quickly time for kids. You know, my daughter will be playing tennis this spring again in high school, so getting a physical, there could be a cost to get a copy of a birth certificate. She also is turning 16, so getting her driver's license may cause that. We have trips coming up. We got travel. If you need to get a passport, you don't get your passport here, but if you need to get a copy of your birth certificate to take to the passport office, that's a place that you can go to get that kind of information. So there are several reasons why the Office of Vital Records is important. Again, you can reach them by phone at 757-683-2887. They are also online at norfolkpublichealth.com. And if you need to walk in anytime, Monday through Friday from 9 a.m. to 3 p.m., you can walk right in their front door at
830 Southampton Avenue here in Norfolk.
Okay. I think this has been fruitful and productive. I appreciate your time. And you said they're very friendly, which kind of just has me in a mind of the new TikTok trend. They listen and they don't judge.
Exactly.
They'll just take your information and give you what you need. If you had $12, you can get the document that you're looking for, provided that you are a sibling or the person themselves, a parent, a maternal grandparent, and also a spouse. So if you need a document for yourself, hopefully it's just your birth certificate, your marriage certificate, or your divorce record, not your death certificate, you can go in there with $12 and get that. If you need something for another family member and you are a sibling, a spouse, a parent, a maternal grandparent, then you can get that information of the child, right? Mm-hmm. And you can go there, as we said, Monday through Friday, 9 a.m. to 3 p.m. at
830 Southampton Avenue.
You're going to get it right one of these times. You can give them a call at 757-683-2887 or visit them online at norfolkpublichealth.com. Thank you so much, Jasmine, for your time today.
Thank you, Maynard. Appreciate the time.
We'll see you guys next week. Have a great day.